This is Gardevoir. Normally, it is a dual psychic fairy type Pokemon. But what do you think Gardevoir might look like if that were not the case? I've challenged myself to create a brand new Gardevoir redesign for each of the 18 individual Pokemon types. But there's a twist. These Gardevoir redesigns won't just be your plug-and-play stereotypical remakes. I've added the additional level of difficulty by purposefully trying to avoid any common tropes that appear with each new type, like overused colors or design elements. This means you likely won't be seeing any fire in our fire-type design, or any brown in our rock-type Gardevoir. You get the picture. All that being said, let's kick things off with number 1. Normal type. First, let's discuss some things we should try to avoid. There's a surprising amount of variety in the designs of normal-type Pokemon, but a closer look will reveal that a great majority of them are literally just animals, which is quite easy and boring. I also really want to avoid the use of brown or beige in our design as much as possible, as that is a color commonly associated with normal types. When brainstorming concepts, I decided that I wanted to go down the route of art or music, similar to Pokemon like Smeargle or Meloida. After further sketching, I decided on musicality as going to be the focal point. I wanted to create some design elements that would resemble hip-hop or pop culture, and began experimenting with different styles of baggy pants, headphones, cassette players, and different hairstyles to create a more laid-back and chill vibe. When scouting through pre-existing normal types for inspiration, I decided to also include side braids on our Gardevoir, similar to those on the charming Wooloo. This addition of a longer hair element contributes to the casual nature and the carefree attitude that we're looking to achieve. As far as colors go, I took inspiration from another one of my favorite normal types, Zangoose, giving our Gardevoir a similar red and white color palette. I went with this mainly because I'm biased and I like Zangoose's color scheme. That's pretty much it. And so, with all that said and done, we welcome Gardevoir, the DJ Pokemon. Next up at number 2, Fire type. First is our list of things to avoid. It should be obvious that including flames or fiery patterns somewhere on the body is overplayed for this type. And in addition, I'll try to avoid using the traditional colors of red and orange as much as possible. It's a pretty short list, but just those couple of characteristics eliminate more than 90% of fire-type Pokemon. With that in mind, my ideas started centralizing around the sun as the main focus, and I decided to make a solar fire type. I also, for the sake of a challenge and uniquity, decided to incorporate Azteca and other South American tribal elements to depict this glowing fire type Pokemon.
Power of the sun!
Personally, I really love when I have to do some research before I draw something. And eventually, a game plan for our Fire-type Gardevoir came to light. This Pokemon would be based on the ancient Incan sun god, Inti. The reference for the actual design, however, would be twofold. Part 1 would be inspired by Inti himself. He is most often depicted by the native South Americans as a face on a large gold disc radiating sunbeams. I mean, if you've ever seen Argentina's national flag, well, now you know what Inti looks like. Part 2 comes from the long-celebrated Incan festival called Inti Raymi, which translates to Sun Festival. This is a multi-day celebration falling near the southern hemisphere's equivalent of the winter solstice to ring in the Incan New Year and ensure a bountiful harvest for the following season. The outfits worn by the indigenous paraders during this time are often very patternous and colorful, supplying more than enough inspiration to complete our design. Never thought you'd be getting cultured watching a Gardevoir speed paint video, did ya?
Got him!
Be aware, though, that there is a general truth about Pokemon designs that would prove to be crucial in our fire type. Some of the best Pokemon designs are created to be simple, easy to remember, and easy to recreate. With the potential in our design to include some very wild and intricate details, I had to constantly keep in mind the simplicity of a good work. After much revision and research, please make way for Gardevoir, the deity Pokemon. Up in spot number 3, Water type. We'll start this time with some potential ideas and inclusions. I must give credit to the Water type designs for including a great variety of leg counts. Like, we've got your traditional bipeds, quadrupeds, we've got decopeds, nopeds, and some where I have just no idea. This gave me every excuse to not stick this Gardevoir with the traditional bipedal design. I eventually decided that Primarina was looking a bit lonely posing there all by themselves and needed some company, so our Gardevoir was about to become Murdevoir. However, we cannot forget this is a challenge to be different, so we have to set our water type design apart somehow. When scanning for ideas, I noticed something peculiar. The general attitude of a great majority of water type Pokemon is happy. It's kind of hard to explain, and sure, some of them look kinda angry or grumpy some of the time, but they rarely ever look like they have destructive intentions, or like are intrinsically malevolent, like they were just born to kill. Except Pyukumuku. Stay away from that thing at all costs. So, evil mermaid Gardevoir it is. Now, a couple things to avoid. Even though we're creating a mermaid character, I'd like to avoid as many non-essential, fishy, watery, or bubbly characteristics as possible. And it should go without saying that blue should be used very sparingly. I feel like I should reiterate this. This monster is going to be out for blood, no exceptions. I wanted to display this as much as possible with sharp edges, spines, and a very Undyne looking fin pattern on the head. I also included X-shaped scar patterns on the sides of Gardevoir's lower body, very much like those you'd see on Greninja. For colors, I went with a green and fauve main body, with a red and pink accents to give it a very eye-catching contrast. This design should probably be classified as a dual water and dark or poison type or something, but it's my challenge and I don't really care, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. Either way, this completes Gardevoir, the Siren Pokemon. You might notice something a little different about this Pokédex entry. This Gardevoir has its very own signature ability, Siren Song, the very first, but certainly not the last, to be assigned to these remakes. This ability would cause the opponent's active Pokémon to become infatuated and unable to be switched out if left in for more than 3 turns in a row. Now, if you know your way around a Pokémon battle, you should know then that this is essentially a death sentence for the opponent's Pokémon, unless Gardevoir itself is switched out. Quite fitting, if I do say so myself. And that completes part 1 of the series. Congrats and well done if you stuck around this far in the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed seeing the process in action, as well as my commentary, and let me know in the comments which one of these designs was your favorite or what you would have done differently. Subscribe for more incredible and unique Gardevoir redesigns in the future, and I will see you around.